Warning, this video contains rumors, speculation, strong opinions, and
Hey, Geeks and Gamers. Time for Geeks and Gamers news. Now, I'm actually, a lot of this series is meant to poke fun and tear away the layer of bullshit that the Menace of Fandom has put into fandom and Geeks and Gamers. But I'm going to have a real moment here for you guys and gals because um, it goes past the typical BS with this kind of stuff. And I don't like to call. Oh, my dog is ruining Callie. Okay, not a time to play. All right, so here is the topic of this video that is very important. And I'm not against Candace Owens. Not against John Talks personally. I just think he talks like he cares a lot and he injects just as much politics as Jeremy. I used to call him John Talks like Jeremy. And sometimes John talks like he cares, talking about Captain Marvel and She-Hulk and everything else. Talks about stuff he doesn't really care, comics he doesn't read. Um, Not a fan. I don't want him canceled or anything like that. But what I do think absolutely, positively, 100% needs to be canceled is talk like this in the fandom. Now, Candace Owens is a political figure. She's on a lot of media. But what happens is, and am I picking on John for this video? Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, because I've seen a lot of this going on. I What he did was this is the Candace Owens tweet. The number one killer in America is heart disease. 1,002 people a day. Did you know that if you die from heart disease right now and they determine you to be an symptomatic carrier of COVID-19 in your postmortem, they legally add your death to the Bud Light death toll? And then I didn't include this in the image. And then someone else responds, I work in a medical examiner's office, and suicide and murders are also being classified as these Bud Light and that carry the antibody. It's a numbers game and a sham. And then why am I picking on John Talks like he cares or John Talks like Jeremy? And that's symptomatic of all of the fandom menace, the menace of fandom. They use the same talking points. They're all making the same videos. That's why they control the algorithm. That's why it's also important that I make Geeks and Gamers great again and take it away from Jeremy because he put plus gamers in there. This is dangerous talk. This is dangerous talk. And the ones that are doing our jobs now, idiots like this, if they actually believe it and then go about their business and don't take action for what the CDC recommends, and the states that are still not going through with this and don't realize that they possibly could be spreading it now, people that aren't doing their part is the reason this is going to last longer than it needed it to. I'm being honest right now. And the double-edged sword is if you follow these rules and you do your part with your work, your job, not seeing your family, you're doing a selfless act. And the selfish AJW a-holes that don't want to listen to people are here's the reality. Again, there are a lot that will survive, but not without medical treatment. When you do this kind of talk, the men and women on the front lines in hospitals and doctors' offices across the world are put in harm's way, and when you don't do your part, you put them at risk. They're dying. So when you make comments like this, go look at a healthcare worker that has lost their life protecting the public and AJWs and a-holes don't listen and spread this bullshit. And is it being spread in the fandom, the Menace of Fandom? I've seen a lot of retweets like this. I follow a lot of the Menace of Fandom on Twitter. I see a lot of talk like this, doubting the seriousness of this problem. Now, just New York has passed 4,000 deaths over the weekend. And I think they're sending in the National Guard and a lot of that to aid and assist the healthcare professionals in New York during what could be the peak of the outbreak there. It is a hot spot. And when this is accepted by any community, and hey, yes, she's a political figure. I'm saying keep your politics out of my fandom. And a lot of this talk is use common sense. I am absolutely disgusted with this. I know people that have been affected by this. I've talked to people. And it's a real threat. And I hope we can get past this. But if it extends longer, it's because people don't listen and just are selfish. AJWs, type A personalities. So I use this keep your politics out of my fandom from my good friend Goldman on a previous stream. And I love that sentiment. And when I make Geeks and Gamers great again, that's going to be one of my slogans. Keep your politics out of my fandom. And you know what else is a good slogan that's been used a lot on social media? Don't be a spreader. And even after this is over, I'm going to use that too. Don't be a spreader of bullshit. Don't be like John Talks because he doesn't care. Remember when he said responsibility for the fandom, bringing people back together? He said, that's not my responsibility. So don't paint me with a broad brush, bro. Yes, I'm telling you, this is a real moment in this series, Geeks Gamers. This is not meant to be laughed at, this one. Don't be a spreader that's being an actual menace to fandom, and now going to the point that it's a menace to the public. It's gone past the normal BS, spreading this type of talk when people are losing their lives. And tell this tweet, these idiots, this twits that are retweeting this stuff, tell that to a family that can't even say their final goodbyes because if they do, they could catch it too. And then once they pass away from this Bud Light epidemic, you can't even see them to give after they're gone because the body is contaminated. That's real. Tell this to someone that lost their life on the front lines, treating a lot of people and giving people tests because they were on the front lines and they don't even have the proper protection because there's a shortage. That's where it gets real. Man up. Stop using this type of thought. Treat things seriously and don't be a spreader of bullshit. And let's give support to not only individuals that this could be the end of their life if you spread it to them. Look at that bus driver that there was a bus driver. I don't remember what city he was in. And he said, I don't know if any of you have seen this. He said, someone was coughing on my bus, not covering their mouth or anything. And within a week, he's gone. Tell that to the families. This type of talk is disgusting. And yes, this type of talk needs canceled. And I really want to give my support to those in the healthcare industry that that have to leave their families, and by helping others, they also put their own families at risk. And those in the industry that are being selfless and on the front lines, they need everyone. I'm saying every single person to do their part, because where are you going to go if you get it? And if everyone gets it at the same time, and if we did not follow through with this, with the social distancing and quarantining, and people still trying to do their jobs at home and sacrificing a lot, they'd be overwhelmed already. Just look at New York. That could be nationwide. So that's my thoughts. I want to hear yours. This was a more serious Geeks and Gamer news because, yes, can this stuff be so toxic that it's actually this type of thinking so toxic that it can actually harm someone if they are influenced by a social influencer that talks like he cares? Yes, it can be that. It can be that damaging. All right. I don't care what type of news channel you watch. Listen to it. Listen to the CDC. And hey, even if you don't like Trump, listen to his most recent reports. He said it's going to be bad. Okay. I wish the best for all of you and your families. And I think I think a lot of people out there know someone in their family or friends that is in the healthcare industry, and they deserve us to treat this with respect and seriously. Why so serious? Because lives are at stake. I'll talk to you later. Tell me if you want this type of content too. And I do feel passionate about this because I've talked to some people. I'll talk to you later.